Also hashtag Giving Tuesday, Shawls for Sharing, Make Along. Today will be Crochet Along. We're going to talk about the easy breezy crochet shawl today. If you are joining me or us live, please say hello. Let me know if you're crafting this morning. Let me know if you have questions for me. Just say hi. Let's see who is here. Hi Joe, hi Judy, Steffi, Val, Judy, Karen, Marjorie. Good morning everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hi Linda. Hi Joe. Hi Marianne, Judy, Barbara. Oh, baby Bjorn is happy to be here too. I think if he could speak, he would say hello to all of you. Hi Kathy, Naomi, Joe, Ginger, Carrie, good morning. Did you want to say hi to anybody? He says, no, just keep petting me. Just keep petting. Naomi is on her third Easy Breezy shawl. That's awesome. Hi, Tammy and Nora. Oh, those paw prints are so cute. All right, I'm going to take a sip of my drink, okay? Hi, Dawn. Well, I re-sprained my wrist last night and this morning, so I've had to go back to my storage unit. I went back there last night to pick up some things, didn't get everything I needed, went back there this morning, and I had to pull down some of the super heavy bins to get to bins in the bottom bin, right? And I had to do that with 2 columns, and I still didn't find what I was looking for. The thing that I need is in the 3rd column, and anyway, I thought, I hurt my wrist bad enough that it hurts, not bad enough that it's bad enough that I want to protect it and let it heal so it doesn't get worse. Does that make sense? It's not super bad, but I actually slept in the wrist guard last night, and I just want to keep it on for a couple of days and see if, a little immobility will help heal it. I'll do, the rice treatment, rest, ibuprofen, compression, and elevation. We'll try a little bit of that today too. But in the meantime, I thought that the wrist guard really helps me a lot. It's got a metal support in there, and it really just holds it still. So I feel like I need that. Thanks, Judy. Yes, if you haven't tried these peach protein drinks, I love them so much. They're so good. I don't like to eat breakfast. I like something to drink instead, and don't really like milky protein shakes. So when I discovered these recently, I was like, yes, I could absolutely drink a peach flavored water that has 20 grams of protein for breakfast every morning. I can absolutely do that. And you know what? I've been doing it consistently, which makes me happy too, because we always have great ideas, right? But how often do our great ideas remain consistent in our lives? I've been so consistent with drinking this now for a couple months that I even put it on, what's that thing you can do on Amazon where you can get something auto shipped, that you decide how often you want it sent, and then they sent it, and I'm drinking it in the right amount of time to get my auto shipments. You know that means consistency. And those, a subscription, thanks Judy, you know what a big deal that is, right? We all have great intentions, but do we follow through on the things we have great intentions on? Not 100% of the time, right? Not 100% of the time. Yeah, so you subscribe and you save a little money too. It's delicious. I love it. I love it, and I still love it. And I only get peach because it's the cheaper flavor between that and tropical punch, and I'm not a big tropical punch fan anyway. I love it. I keep saying I'm going to put it in my iced tea because I think it would be a great flavor enhancer to iced tea, but I love iced tea on its own, so that's okay. I'm wearing a shirt today that you might be wondering about. It's from my Amazon shop. It's been driving me nuts as a suggested purchase on Amazon for the longest time, and I thought this was really crochet inspired here. So at first, and it was on sale the other day, so I ordered it thinking, well, I'll just get it as a research project to see how could I do this in crochet, which I totally could. As a crochet on fabric, you could take a tank top and create, what is this? It's a five-sided motif. So if you wanted to, you could do it in increasing rows like they did here. So the difference between this and like a top-down increasing shawl is that there are no single increases on the side. If you started here in rows, you would just do your double increase down the center and not do increases on the side. And that would give you this shape instead of a top-down triangle. Let's see if I can find a small one to show you. So for example, on this version of the Easy Breezy shawl, it also starts in the top center like that. But on this one, we did double increases down the center and single increases on the side to create that shape. Increases on the side just worked even in pattern, except for the double increase down the center. You would create this shape. Also, it's a five-sided motif. If you wanted to make a motif that's a pentagon instead of a hexagon or a square, you could also do it that way. Oh, did you want this one? Okay, you can have that one. Can we put it on your head? Oh, baby Bjorn looks beautiful in a beaded headscarf. Look at you. You are such a good sport, you know that? What a good sport. He's gonna let me put this on his head. You sugar. You're just being sucky, aren't you? So anyway, this top comes in a bunch of colors, and it's not expensive, and it does need a strapless bra because of this neckline. Oh, but also it has a keyhole in the top here, and I thought for sure I was going to have to undo it to, did you see it? I thought with the button up there, I thought for sure I was going to have to undo it to wear it. Nope. I fit my head right through, so I don't have to do that. Did have to iron it. I'll be curious to see if it needs ironing after washing and drying. Probably not. Does the protein drink have vitamins too? I don't know. I don't know. Go look at the link at the video description that Judy shared. The product description will tell you all of that. And if it doesn't, you can ask the manufacturer. They'd be better to answer those questions than me. Okay, how does the top run? I'm wearing a large, and it is not tight on me. It's not supposed to be tight either. I mean, I guess I would say that runs, I would say it runs large since I'm roughly 185 pounds, 38 double D, so for a large to fit me a little on the baggy side, I would say that runs a little large, but I also like this size. I wouldn't size down. I'm comfortable in this size. I don't want to see my back fat. You know what I mean? I like the way it fits. Okay, audio. Some people say audio is fine, so I'm guessing if anybody has issues with audio, it might be your connection. It's funny because if it's across the board and everybody, it's one thing, and if it's one off or two off, then it's somebody, then it could just be your own connection. Okay. All right. Oh, that's so wonderful. Lori's attempting to make the Easy Breezy shawl for all 9 of her sisters-in-law, and they're having a get-together at the end of September. That sounds wonderful. Yes, Steffi. Low sugar, no sugar, and it's 90 calories, 150 milligrams of sodium, 2 carbs, 0 sugars, and 20 grams of protein. Is it replacing food? No. Would food be healthier? Probably. But as for someone like me that would generally skip breakfast, I feel like it's a healthy compromise for me. I'm not saying it's the healthiest thing in the world. It's just working for me because normally I would drink coffee and skip breakfast and not eat again for many, many hours. Okay. Well, the noise you hear is the AC because I'm in an RV. Sorry. Okay, all right, so you may have noticed that I have 2 versions of the Easy Breezy shawl here today, and I wanted to talk about this for several reasons, one of which is, oh, and by the way, don't forget, if you haven't already, oh, he's letting me even touch him with yarn. If you haven't already entered to win any of the prizes for the summer crochet along, you can follow the link to the Shawls for Sharing page on my website where you can enter. Excuse me, if you enter your email address, it is one way to enter, but there are lots of other ways to enter too, and the more ways you enter, the more likely you are to win. One of the prizes is Lion Brand is donating 4 balls of mandala yarn, which is about $36 value. I'm donating 2 separate prizes, so that's the grand prize. I'm donating a free ebook of your choice as the second prize, and I'm donating a free pattern of your choice as the third prize. Lots of ways to enter to win. Somebody's got to win. Might as well be you. Head on over there and enter to win. If you share your email address with me, please know that it is 100% private. I never share your email with anybody. Okay, what was I going to go from there? Oh, I was going to say, okay, when you're working with a self-striping yarn, if you're doing a one-ball project, I feel like it makes a difference where you start your project. Bjorn, do you mind? Do you mind? Okay. Okay, so let's use this one for, well, actually we can use both of these for examples too. So notice, I do want to get to the way it's constructed, so we'll start here. So notice how it starts with the purple in here, then it goes to pink, green, blue, back to purple. Now, to do a top-down increasing shawl or doing something that is a one-ball project, you might be fine with the way those colors are set up here. But you can also choose how you want your project to go. Let's say it started with green in the center. This one, let's see, which one was my example? This one did not start with green in the center. I want to show you this one. This is the original one. See how it starts with green and it goes to pink in the end? That's not how it started. It started similar to this, where I pulled out that pink to purple and I cut it where the green started so that I could start this shawl with green. I wanted to end on the pink. And so what I think is really cool, and maybe you may not realize this, or maybe you hadn't thought of it, and so I'm so happy to share this with you, you can choose how you want the color to change in a yarn that changes color. Not so much, I mean, you still want it to do the nice segues, right? You still want those beautiful color transitions. However, you can choose. Do you want to start with green? Do you want to start with blue? Do you want it to start it with purple? Do you want to start it from the outside or the inside? Or is there somewhere in the middle where you want to start it? If that's the case, then you pull that out, get to the spot where you want to start, cut the yarn, and start there, and then just tie that second smaller ball to the first ball when you get back to that point. And that's what I did on the first one here. Isn't that great? Yes, you can control the color of a self-striping yarn. You can choose where you want it to begin and end. So let's do it, show you on this one too. This one wasn't set up this way either. I believe this one started somewhere in the middle here, which is where this one starts, okay? Do you see that lighter purple with the pink? So this ball actually started with, let's look at that up close. This ball started in this lighter violet purple, then went to pink, then green, blue, more of a blue violet, and then to the pure violet. So I didn't want it to do that. No, now I'm getting confused. No, I let this one, what did I do on this one? Boy, I just lost my train of thought. You know, sometimes when I'm reading comments, I totally lose my train of thought. I did not change the color on this one, correct? Now I'm confused. I cut the ball on this one. Did I cut the ball on this one too? I think this one started with green. Oh, you want to see how to count the rows of the shawl? That's a great question, and it's also super important if you're going to make two, right? If you're going to make two, you want them to be the same size. So, and that will be a great segue into talking about how to use two of them to make other garments. So I'm going to put one of them back. Actually, you know what? I'm going to set it up and pin it up as a shawl so we can use it as an example here. Okay. Personally, I think the easiest way to count rows on something like this is to count them in the center increase corners here. However, you can also count on the end of rows here. Now, this particular shawl always started with a chain 6 that counted as a double crochet chain 3. So at the beginning of each round, at the beginning of each row, you can see a chain space. See those? So you could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The key to counting rows in any project is understanding the anatomy of the stitches and understanding what the combination or configuration of the stitches is in the stitch pattern. So because I know what I'm looking for here, I'm looking for the exposed chain 3 of the chain 6, right? Because that chain 6 counted as a chain 3 double crochet and a chain 3 across the top. On the next row, we work 3 double crochet, chain 3, 1 double crochet in that chain 6, so that covers up the top portion of the chain 6. The 3 on top. The 3 on the side that counts as the double crochet is the side exposed. So, and whether you're looking, and that alternates because we work back and forth the rows. On the following row, it's a chain 3 and double crochet. The chain 6 counts as a chain 3 double crochet. So every other row, it's a chain 3 or an exposed double crochet. So here you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you could count all the way up that way. Now, I think that the corners in the center are very easy to see here as well. So you see where there's the 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet in the center of the shawl here. I think counting those chain 3 spaces in the middle here are also very easy to see. So you could count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that way as well. Does that make sense to everybody? Oh, hi. Were you waiting on me? Come here, sweetheart. Well, we're going to wait and see if anybody has any questions about how to count these rows, okay? You can just sit here. You can just sit here while we wait. Does anybody have questions about that? It is much harder to count in the middle of rows, I think. So if you can find a distinct part of your stitch pattern, so whether I'm counting those exposed single double crochet and chain 3s at the end of the row, or that specific corner in the middle, 3 double chain 3 corner, I think those are very easy to count. You can also count in the middle of a row also. I just feel like when you can find something that's distinctive in the pattern, it makes it easier to count and easier to keep on track. Thank you, Terry. This is Baby Bjorn. His name's Bjorn, but I call him Baby Bjorn. And it's funny because he only acts like a baby most of the time. Sometimes he wants to be a big boy, so I make a joke about that. Yes, the first row in a top-down increasing shawl is always going to be at the top center. I'll show you that in a second too. Bjorn hates it when the AC comes on. Honey, you'd really hate it even worse if we didn't have AC though, trust me. I tell him that all the time. Every time he looks up and goes, ooh, it came on again, I tell him, trust me, loud AC is better than no AC. Right? Oh, sweetheart, can I set you down? Can I set you down, sweetheart? He says, no, you can't. Hi, Rita. Hi, Donna. You want to get down? Here you go. Okay. All right, so let's look at that top. Let's look at that first row. Okay, I'll just lay it up against my body now. Can you see that this is the first row? Okay, and even when I set it out, can you see that everything comes to a center with those corners? And so if you recognize the corners, that 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, if you recognize the corner, you can go all the way from the bottom. You see the corner, you follow it all the way up. There's your first row, right there. So then we would count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So okay, we counted 10 rows in green. Then it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 through the blue, through the light blue, turquoise, then 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So I did 29 rows in the pattern, and then row 30 was the edging on this one. Okay, now who wants to talk about making garments when you make 2 triangular shawls? All right, one of these is blocked and the other one isn't yet. And I brought my steamer in to block it this morning for you, but I thought doing this, I thought showing the comparison would be fine. I'll block it later. I thought it was more important to show you how to assemble these. Okay, I'm just going to eyeball this at first, so I'm going to try to get this to center back like that. So I put the center of the shawl at the center shoulder seam, and I put this in the center back. Then I will pin the center front here, okay, like that. And then I'll do the same thing with the second shawl on this side. Now, I also intentionally didn't match up the colors on the shawls because I wanted you to see that you have options when changing it with the color direction in a self-striping yarn. I did that intentionally because my intention was never to make this into a matchy-matchy poncho. I felt like there was more learning opportunities by not matching it. So you can look at this and go, oh my gosh, I love the fact that the colors are random. I love this as a poncho or as a ruana or whatever you want to make. And then someone else might go, I don't like it that way at all. I would want to make the colors identical. Well, that becomes a teaching moment then, or a learning moment, right? Because you can take what you like of something and see where you would improve it, or you can just visualize something and go, yes, I like it just the way it is. Either way, it's good. You never have to like everything someone teaches you. You can take what you like and leave the rest. And I know I say this a lot, but honestly, I don't think I can say it enough, because you don't ever have to like 100% of what anybody teaches you. Never. Never. You can take what you like and leave the rest. And I think that goes for, there's probably examples where that doesn't work. Maybe like learning first aid or whatever. But as far as learning crafts and being artistic and creative, yes, take what you like and leave the rest. 100%. I 100% agree with that. That's great, Janet. Yes, it makes a nice full poncho. Yes. Okay, so let's back it up. How gorgeous is that? So then you could either sew down the front. I actually like it in the random colors, to be honest with you. And then here it is in the back. You could choose to sew this up further if you want. You could choose to sew it up less. You could make chain ties and just corset tie it so that you had options to wear it as a poncho when you want and options to not. You could just sew up the back and leave the front open to wear it more like a ruana or a cape. You could also corset tie the front, but only put it at the back, but only sew it at the back. Learn the technique and do what you like. That's great, Tammy. Yeah, no, I don't know of any Monet quotes. If that's true, that's wonderful. And there's another example. I came up with the guidance organically, but it doesn't mean that I'm the first person to say it. That's great. Yeah, I should look that up. I'd like to read it properly now. Yes, you can make a shrug as well. That will require me to do a little sewing. Do we have time today? No, we'll probably have to leave that for next week. But yes, what you could do, I'll take these out. Oh, you know what? We can use the table. I'm going to have to move you, baby Bjorn. We could use the dinette table and I can show you a little bit of how to do the shrug. Yes, I can. Okay, I won't be able to put it on because it won't be secured. We can secure it in time for next week. So obviously you could just instead of doing a top-down increasing shawl in this particular stitch pattern, you could work in the round, make a square, and just make the square whatever size you wanted. However, if you're not going to do that, oh, sweetheart, I have to move you. Oh, baby kitty. Baby kitty. Says, please don't move. Please don't make me get off the table. I know, poor baby. Poor baby. Well, okay, are we just going to work around you then, sweetheart? All right, we'll just work around baby Bjorn. Let's see, is he going to tolerate that? Oh my God, what a sucky baby. He's going to let me do that. All right, so he's fine with being underneath. Let's see if I can bend this down. Can you see well enough like that? Is that enough? And how ridiculous is it that Bjorn wants to sit underneath? He does this when I'm changing the sheets too. I think he wants to play hide and go seek or peekaboo or something. What a silly kitty. Who is this silly kitty, huh? Okay, so let's say that you had the two triangles. I actually love this random coloration here too. I think this is prettier than if you match the colors, to be quite honest with you. I absolutely love this. Okay, so let's say you have the two triangles and you sewed up this center line, okay? You would sew this whole center line up. Then, this is going to be hard to do because I don't have it sewn up. Then you would fold the whole thing in half like that, okay? Bjorn, there he is, peekaboo. There's the kitty. So then, once you have the whole thing folded folded in half this way, then you would sew down the short side here. No, hold on. No, you would leave open enough for your arm from the fold line, okay? From the fold, you would open up for your arm and then sew to the corner. So maybe like halfway down to the corner. And then on this side as well, you would, from the corner, skip halfway to leave a hole for your arm and then sew down to the corner. And by doing that, you would be creating armholes so that when you open this up, your body goes into the big opening and your arms go into the small opening. I know that that is quite a concept without the visual, and I can try to have this sewed up or a corset tied up in time for next week to show you, but for today, that's the best I can do because we're out of time. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Did that help anybody? I know the visual's tough without sewing it actually and putting it on, but I don't know if I have any. Do I have any extra yarn to do it quickly? Let's see if I can find a yarn needle. Does anybody want to stay an extra 5 minutes if I do it? Oh, it's going to be more than 5 minutes though, isn't it? It's going to be more than 5 minutes. We'll do it for next week. We got plenty of time. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Yeah, he's underneath the blanket. Apparently it's not too hot in here for him. It helped Naomi. Great. Did it help anybody else without actually having to sew it? Because I am out of time actually today. Oh, Bjorn thinks anything is cuddle worthy. Steffi says it helped a lot. Wonderful. Neck opening is the big hole, Barbara. The big hole here is the neck opening. Yes, he is as chill as they come. Hi, Teresa and Carrie and Lori said yes. Is Bjorn sleepy? He's feeling super cuddly. I don't know, maybe sleepy. He let me sleep through the night last night. I couldn't believe it. It's the first night in several nights I've actually gotten to sleep more than an hour at a time. He let me sleep from whatever time we went to bed till around 6:30 this morning, which I thought was heaven, considering I've probably had only an hour of sleep at a time for the last few days. It was Picasso. Great, Tammy. I will look that up after the show. Thank you. Yeah, there's some subjects where I don't encourage bending the rules, and there's other ones where I do. Certainly with being creative, yes, you learn the rules so that you know where to bend them for yourself. It also applies with cooking, maybe not baking, but certainly with cooking. Yes, you can sew the front together. I don't know what you mean by the front, Linda, but I was showing how you would sew down the top diagonal and then sew armhole sleeves. I could also draw schematics for this and add it somewhere. Um, Thanks, Sharon. I am so excited about this top. I bought it on Amazon thinking it would be good inspiration for a crochet top because I wanted to see how this piece was placed on the tank top. And I also wanted to see if I could just use a regular tank top to do this. And because the back is different than a regular tank top, I think that I would have to do this on the front and back if I was doing it on a regular tank top with regular sleeves. But once I got it here, I'm so in love with the top that I kind of just want it in every color now. I think it looks so good on. It's got that nice relaxed fit down here. And out of the box, I did have to steam it, but I have a feeling that when you wash it and dry it, I have a feeling that this type of fabric won't need ironing anymore. So fingers crossed on that. Does anybody have any other questions? Bjorn says, just let me sit here forever. Is he so silly? But he's silly in like the sweetest way, right? He's cuddly and silly, like, oh, he just melts my heart. And I love sharing him with you guys. I love that he performs on camera. Do you know what I mean? You know how some cats will like try to prove you wrong as soon as you say they do something? I love that he actually shows you guys what a sweetheart he is. You ready to get up now? Oh, he is a precious kitty. He is so precious. All right, does anybody have any other questions? Do you have any questions? No, you don't have any questions. You're good. Let's wait and see if anybody else has questions, okay? In fact, you know what? I think for next week, my homework is going to be to make a couple of chain ties, because I think if I made a couple of chain ties to not only show you the poncho, the ruana / cape, but then also show you the shrug, I'll be able to do all that with maybe 3 ties. I think 3 or 4 ties. I'll try that. So there's my homework for next week. And I do have a little more yarn left. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks, Marjorie. All right, I don't see any more questions. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the other types of possibilities there are with making a crochet shawl, how to make 2 and turn them into garments as well. Oh, now we got a question. Are you doing a knit shawl for this? No, Lori, every quarter, every season or quarter, however you want to word it, I will be alternating knit and crochet. So for the fall make along, it's going to be a knit shawl. So then we're doing this shawl for, what was it, July, August, September. So for October, November, and December, we'll be featuring a knit shawl that 100% of the proceeds of that pattern will be donated to charity for that quarter or that season. And I will be sharing a pattern for it, and I will be talking about different ways to make variations in it and make it your own. However, if you are only a knitter, you're always welcome to join along while we're talking about this one. And when we talk about the knit one next quarter, you will be more than welcome to just crochet along. It's a make along. This is the whole intention for Shawls for Sharing, is to be inclusive. I don't care if you knit or crochet or don't do either and just enjoy chatting along with us. We're still talking about creativity and positivity regardless of whether or not you want to make shawls with us. And even if you can't stand making shawls and you only like making hats or scarves or socks or whatever, please always feel welcome to join along. We're here to talk about positivity, creativity, and giving back to our community. That's something that works for anybody, right? So you're always welcome to join. You're welcome to do whatever you want to do. You can crochet while we're knitting. You can knit while we're crocheting. You can work on both at the same time like I usually do. It doesn't matter. Just join us. The more we talk about being creative and the more we talk about positivity and giving back, we build momentum in our own lives and we build momentum in the community around us. It's always good. And that's why I'm so happy that we're dedicating one day a week to always doing this. It makes me feel good. I know it makes a lot of you feel good. And I'm certain that the more we talk about these good things together, the more momentum we're going to build in our own lives and in the communities around us. Yes, Kathy, anytime that there is a top-down increasing project like a shawl like this, it's really important to emphasize to everybody, it does not matter what yarn you use. You can use any size yarn with an appropriately sized crochet hook. It does not matter. And that's why it's important to me going forward, now that I have those graphics that I've made, to show you in the pattern. Here is an estimate for how much yarn you will need to make this in various weights of yarn. And also I like adding information in there about, let's say you want to make, let's say you only have fingering weight yarn and you want to make something quicker and thicker and warmer. I also share information on there of what weight yarn you create when you double yarn. So lots of ways that you can make this your own. I've been sharing how to add beads, how to change different things, how to make garments if you make more than one. I want this to always be a teaching moment so that you can learn to think outside of a pattern to make things your own as well. For example, just because I did this in DK weight yarn doesn't mean you can't do it in sport weight yarn and make something smaller. Or continue on in the pattern and make a thinner shawl and make it this size. Or work something much bigger. This is a number 5 bulky weight yarn. Oh, you like that one, don't you? Yeah. So we're going to keep working on this one too. And then in the coming weeks, I also want to show you what it will look like in super bulky weight yarn. I think that it's going to be really interesting to compare and contrast not only the density and the thickness and the drape and the warmth and coziness, but also compare and contrast how much quicker it is when you work with a thicker yarn. Think about how many less rows you'll need to make the shawl when you work with something thicker too. So there's always ways to change things up, and there's always ways to make things work for you. We can talk about making this a stash buster as well, you know. Yeah. Sound good to you? Yeah, he says everything sounds good to me. If you're going to pet me and talk to me, everything sounds good to me. All right, well, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed all my demos, chatting with me and everyone else. Thank you so much for all of the questions. Anytime you can ask me questions, it helps me so much to explain whatever I'm trying to explain in such a more well-rounded way. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And that's why I love going live with you, because it just gives us the ability to really add so much more excitement to a conversation, because I have a point of view, but anytime you can ask me questions, it just fills in the gaps. From any person's one point of view is not going to be the full spectrum of the conversation, right? So anytime you can ask me questions live and I can add those to whatever I'm saying, it just makes for such a bigger, fuller bodied conversation. So thanks to all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye, Bjorn. Bjorn says bye-bye too.